Hi guys, back with another video. This time it's going to be a football related one. I want to talk about Steven Gerrard. Stevie G is now the manager of Aston Villa Football Club. He has left Glasgow Rangers to join Aston Villa as their manager. And all the backroom staff, you got the assistant Gary McAllister, a few of the other guys there have all left with him. First off, let's just talk a little bit about Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard, a legendary career. Overall, this guy will go down as one of the best midfielders of all time. I think, what was it, about 500 appearances he made overall for Liverpool in about the 16, 17 years he played. Was it about 120 goals or something like that? Wow, this guy, is just synonymous with Liverpool Football Club. You just have that. You have that with certain players. Messi, Barcelona, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Manchester United, and even with Gerrard's old club now, Rangers, there's guys like Ali McCoist, Barry Ferguson. They're just synonymous with the teams that they played for all that amount of time. But the thing is, with Gerrard, when I first heard 3 years ago that Gerrard was going to be the manager of Rangers, I was kind of surprised. It just didn't seem like a fit to me. I don't know what it was, if it was just because of all the problems that Rangers have had, for all these years, that we all know, about what all the Scottish people know about all the problems they had, in 2012, going into administration, and then get booted out of the Premier League, and then they have to go to the very bottom. They go to the League Two, and for all his other Scottish fans, all his other fans, people who aren't fans of Rangers, I suppose it was kind of fun. It was funny as hell at the time, but overall though, it's not good for business. It's not when you've got a top team like Rangers, a club like that with all the money, the business, and just the history, and obviously the stadium and all that stuff, and all just the interest that team, it's like when Sky Sports, with the old firm, that's the big money match in Scottish Premier League. Yeah, sure, you can hype up games like Celtic Hibs, Celtic Hearts, Aberdeen Hibs, Aberdeen Hearts, Celtic Aberdeen, but really, that's the big money match, the Old Firm derby. And Rangers still have problems. These problems now. They lost 23 million from the pandemic. That's out with their control totally. But they still have. There's still problems there. So I was surprised that Gerrard took the role with Rangers initially. But you know what? Overall, first off, I think they kind of got off to, from what I recall, a bit of a shaky start that first season at the very beginning. I think I remember because my team Aberdeen, it was the first game and it was 1-1. I believe it was it was Tawdry. I think Morelos got sent off quite early on. Aberdeen got a late goal, and I think at that moment with Gerrard, he probably came to that realization that, wow, I'd been playing in the Premier League, arguably the best at a certain period of time for a good number of years. Was the English Premier League was the best league, certainly in Europe, arguably in the world. But he realised once he got to Rangers that the quality, obviously, in the Scottish League isn't as good as the quality in the English Premier League. And I can remember vaguely Gerrard, he was a little bit critical of the way Aberdeen played. Maybe only just sour grapes because they didn't win the game. Talking about Aberdeen and all the long balls they play. Not saying how they don't play the passing game, which I suppose there's a valid point there. Even as an Aberdeen fan, I can't be mad at that. That's kind of what it's about. It's a lot like that in the lower leagues in English football. It's like that, well, at the teams in the Scottish leagues. And I know from playing, Saturday, Sunday league football, it's not really about the passing game. It's just get those long balls, punt it up the park. So, but, the thing with Gerrard is there's just something about him that stands out when you see him, with just the way he conducts himself. When you see him on the touchline. I mean, Steven Gerrard, he really, he demands the absolute best out of his players. I mean, I could see this just from the way Gerrard came off in the very first pre-season games for Rangers, when I could see photos of him on the touchline. I mean, Gerrard's just this guy, man. He doesn't take shit from anyone, And you even got the headline on the paper Birmingham Post. They're saying ruthless Steven Gerrard looks to shake up Aston Villa dressing room, and I'm sure he's going to try. He's going to try his absolute best to do that. But that's just the thing. He just gives off this vibe of... I mean, Gerrard overall, I think, comes off kind of like an easygoing, nice guy, just as a human. But when it comes to, football, oh, yeah, I mean, he's ruthless. He don't take any shit. I'll tell you a little bit of a story. I mean, I grew up in Aberdeen. I know Ryan Jack. Ryan Jack is an old schoolmate of mine. Was in a few of my classes... for the first 4 years, he was only at school for, up to fourth year, then he left, he's going on to, fully commit to football, and, hats off to Ryan, we weren't super close, but, near the end, though, we if I saw him, we could speak here and there. He was probably more nicer to me than, these guys, the way they act, they had it in them kind of to be assholes, but he was nice enough to me, so I've got no complaints for Jack. But I can remember specifically, I mean, Jack always kind of stood out from the beginning, the very start of academy. You just knew he was going to be good. I mean, our football coach was also our headmaster, and he was, funnily enough, happened to be the youth coach for Aberdeen back in the Fergie years. So he knew Alex Ferguson very well. Fergie had been to her school, but I could just see from the way that when I'd see Jack and our headmaster, the football coach, having a one-on-one conversation, it was just something there I could just tell from the way they would talk and the way they'd come off. Yeah, this guy must just have something. Jack just has something And it didn't surprise me one bit. It hasn't surprised me one bit, all of the success that he's had. But the thing was, I always remember with Ryan Jack, though. Ryan Jack's idol was Steven Gerrard. I remember that specifically. Jack was a Rangers fan growing up. No, he wasn't an Aberdeen fan. He was a Rangers fan. He might have said some bullshit in an Aberdeen programme about being a Rangers... about growing up as a Don his whole life. No, he was a Rangers fan. And he was a Liverpool fan. Gerrard was his idol. So it's kind of funny that Gerrard ended up as the manager at the club that he was playing for. That's maybe just one of those things, just a fate, a destiny kind of thing. But Jack overall, I mean, he is a standout player. I mean, Jack's just can be injury prone. He can lose his temper a bit. Jack's could be a bit of a tough guy. I remember from their school days, he was a little bit of a tough guy. Could throw his weight around a little bit, but he's a much more smart and cerebral guy than he lets on, though. Maybe some people picked up on that, I don't know, but the thing with Gerrard, though, is, I mean, Gerrard stopped Celtic from winning 10 in a row. I mean, last season, Christ, Rangers were unbeaten in the league, and I feel, that's the thing. I put the title to this video is, Steven Gerrard making a mistake going to Villa. To me, because I just feel like he really had a chance to, just cement his legacy and do that at Rangers Football Club. Rangers with Gerrard could have gone on to win 3, 4, 5 Scottish Premier Leagues in a row. That, in my opinion. So some will say that Gerrard's maybe not. You can't really say Gerrard's failed. They were unbeaten in the league. Some will say, oh well, should have won the double, should have won the treble, and I can't really comment on the League Cup, but I mean, with Rangers in the semi-final when they played St Johnstone, they probably should have beat them. You know, they lost in penalties. They probably should have beat St Johnstone. So yeah, you could be critical of Gerrard there, but overall though, you know, unbeaten in the league. I mean, come on. I mean, you got Aston Villa. He's going to Aston Villa. Right now, Aston Villa are 16th in the league. They've lost 5 games in a row. I mean, so I don't know what the people at Aston Villa, the very top, the owners, the director of football, you know, whoever else, I don't know what they expect out of this Villa team. What they expect Gerrard to accomplish with this team. I mean, would a reasonable maybe to finish maybe the league? I don't know. I mean, what, 11th place maybe at best this season? Is that what they'd be looking for? I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, I would say 11th place is probably the best they could get this season. That's my prediction. I'm going to stick to that prediction. You know, but you've got Gerrard, you know, and now he's on a 2.5-year contract. I mean, and that's the thing. I think a lot of these contracts are much shorter maybe than what they used to be because it's just the way it is now in football. Everything's just so... It's just... Managers always getting the sack very abruptly. But, I mean, the thing is... And that's the thing, things can change so quickly. I mean, it's even like with the Man U Tottenham game, you know what I mean? I mean, if Tottenham's beating Man U 3 or 4-0, then it's, you know, the day after Conte's not getting on a plane to London, he's probably going to Manchester. And he's taking over as Manchester United manager and always getting sacked. I mean, you just never know with football, the way how things can change. But, I mean, the thing with Aston Villa, though, is, I mean, Aston Villa have, you know, a real rich businessman. I mean, and virtually every club in the English Premier League now has, you know, has got billionaire owners, and that's probably a whole topic for another day about the whole with all the billionaires now in football. But I mean, they've got this Egyptian billionaire, so you know he can give Gerrard a good price, you know, and a real good payday, you know, to become and be the manager of Villa and get paid a lot more than, you know, it was at Rangers. And also with Gerrard, I mean, it's a thing, you know, Gerrard didn't have his family out in Glasgow. You know, Gerrard was, you know, commuting, and that must be a tough thing for Gerrard. I mean, Gerrard's just one of those guys, though, made all this ton of money in football. At one point, you know, all the endorsements that making about 70 million a year, but Gerrard's committed to football. It's not all about money with Steven Gerrard. Sure, the money's nice, don't get me wrong. He ain't doing it for free, but it's for the love of football with Steven Gerrard. But, I mean, I don't know for the season after, though, Aston Villa, what they would expect. I mean, are the owners, are they expecting, like, I'm guessing they'd be expecting a Europa League spot, you know, 7th place at best. Because I could see them, like, becoming, like, a top 4, top 5 team, but, you know, you never know in football, you never know. I mean, that came out of nowhere when Leicester City won the league, 2015, 2016. That was out of nowhere. So you just never know. But I mean, overall, I think it's going to be very tough for Steven Gerrard with this Aston Villa team. It's going to be tough for him. And you know, football, like I say, just such a fickle industry. I mean, you had the Norwich manager. He got sacked after winning their first game. Pochettino got sacked after Tottenham. The season after Tottenham made it to the final of the Champions League. You know, Ranieri sacked the season after Leicester City wins the league. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I am a believer that you got to give some managers more time, you know. But it is weird in this league, and I'm speaking for somebody who's a Man U fan, I dare say Ollie could have been probably gotten the sack by now, but yeah, other people that probably didn't deserve the sack right away got it. But that's just maybe just how it is overall in life. There's just no real full justice in this world. But anyway, but the thing is, I mean, my dad predicted that Steven Gerrard would only stay probably about 3 years with Rangers, and then he would go and leave and join a club in the English Premier League. I think my dad was also saying, well, you'll probably can win the league, win the Scottish Cup, win the League Cup even. But give credit to my dad. I mean, he got it right. Gerrard didn't stay as long with Rangers that I thought he would. But I just have my doubts about this, though. I just have my doubts about Gerrard going to Villa that feel that, I don't know, this might not be the right move that he's made. I think that this could possibly be a decision that Steven Gerrard will regret down the line. So, but yeah, guys, I just thought I'd give my thoughts on this. I might come back, maybe in a week or two. I might do a video. That could be a good idea for the next video that I do, talking about all the influence all these billionaires have in the game. You know, going back to when Abramovich came in and bought Chelsea. That may be a good topic. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on Steven Gerrard joining Aston Villa. Okay, thank you guys. Take care. See ya.